Today's webinar, how to get a customized DITA XML conversion pipeline built easily, quickly, and possibly for free, presented by Jackson Klein of Stilo with Brian Tipper of Stilo. Welcome to you both.
Thank you. So my name is Jackson. I'll be presenting the webinar today. I joined Stilo, I would say, what, 3 years ago, and Brian and I we actually acquired Stilo about a year ago. So we are running the company together as a CEO and CTO. My background is in telecommunications, software engineering. I was developing products, believe it or not, and to simulate optical systems and optical circuits, photonic integrated circuits. And I was leading the teams as a lead scientist, but also as a product owner or product manager. And what that means is I was working with the technical writers. So the documentation was also part of the things that we own. And I tell you that as someone that English is not the first language, I always had a great appreciation for working with the technical writers and finding the best way to have the documents in a shape that we could, have reuse and things like that. So I had a lot of experience with that. And then when I joined Stilo, we kind of move away from the telecommunication background, but I still working on the field that was before, which is, the software engineering aspect and documentation. Been working with Migrate for the last couple of years, and some of the things I'm going to show today is actually the things I learned. And one of the documents is actually the first document I was given to convert by our dear friend Alan, which passed away last year. So this document was, when the first time I look at it, I was thinking, what's the challenge of doing this? And then I realized all the little things about migration that are so important to take care when you're doing the whole process. And I'm going to talk about that during the webinar.
So if you'd like to put up your screen share now.
Sure. Oops. Share first. Can you see my screen?
I can.
Okay, perfect. So a few words about Stilo. Stilo is a provider of HTML, XML content conversion tools and services for over 30 years. It's all started with a software called OmniMark. OmniMark is still the software that runs in the back end for all our products, Migrate, Analyzer, Optimizer, which I'm going to mention in a second. And it's still one of the products that we actually actively develop, support, and sell at Stilo. And we operating 100% DITA space for the last 10 years. This is when we actually developed the tool I'm going to present today, which is Migrate. So OmniMark is the HTML programming language. And as I mentioned, it's been used over 30 years, Fortune 500 companies. And if you do anything related to HTML, I don't think you have any option but to use OmniMark. Analyzer is to identify content reuse. So Analyzer is actually not DITA specific. It basically evaluates the value of structured content and reuse. So if your organization is thinking about going to that direction, Analyzer allows you to import your documents and do that evaluation. And you can have all sorts of reports showing potential for reuse. So it's a great tool if you're working with your company and trying to, convince upper management to move to structured content. And Optimizer is optimizing for DITA reuse. So Optimizer basically, you already have your DITA XML. It's already converted to DITA, and now you like to look at all your converted or migrated content and evaluate the potential for reuse. So if you think about the story, you start with Analyzer, you evaluate the potential for reuse, you make a decision to migrate, then you're going to use Migrate to do that migration, and then at the end you can use Optimizer. And underneath of it all, we're running OmniMark. It's transparent, you don't see it, but it's there in the background running. And these are some of the customers we have, and this is just in the Migrate space. So it's just a sample of our customers. So let's talk about then the Migrate as a package and as also a content conversion service. So we have more than 1 million pages converted to DITA. Legacy content conversion, we support several types of input sources, Microsoft Word, FrameMaker, Flare, RoboHelp, DocBook, you name it. And also we support custom XML. So if you provide XML, you provide DDTs, we can have custom importer as well. And we have the option for over-the-wall service option. In that case, basically, we do all the work and we just give you the final DITA. And of course, there's several interactions to make sure everything is to your liking, but we can do all the work for you. But what we like to differentiate ourselves is the fact that you don't have to do that. When we set up a portal for you, and we have the rules set up, and I'm going to show that. All you have to do is to import, to upload your content, press the convert button, and get your DITA XML ready. And you do that. We don't have to be involved in that process unless you need help or you need any kind of change to existing rules. And I'm going to explain that as I demonstrate the software. So this webinar is really about transparency. We just want to show to you how is Stilo able to get my content migrated to DITA so fast. How is that possible? And I want to show how that's done. So the conversion process for Migrate, you have the upload stage, analyze stage, convert and download. This is, again, is very transparent. So we won't even know what's happening under the hood, let's put this way. But I just want to explain to show how this is actually done. So and for the upload, the first stage, we create a dedicated portal for the client. It's pre-configured to the target outputs that they want. So the demo I'm going to show today, I'll be using a demo portal. In our demo portal, we have everything. So if I click on target, you're going to see 50 types of options. But when you have your own portal, you're only going to have the options you need. For example, it's going to be DITA 1.3 map, topic base, or book map, or so on. And if there is any tailoring or specialization, it's going to have your company name there. And then you basically just have to upload the document. And same thing, we're going to have pre-configured for the types of documents that you like to import. So if you're going to be working with docx, we're going to have a docx importer. In the demo, again, today, when I select something, you may see like 15 types of importers because we cover all sorts of files. But your portal is going to be pretty optimized for what you need. And you can import, as mentioned, your single multiple files. And when we import the file, the first thing that happens is, well, OmniMark is running in the background, and we have the analysis stage. The analysis stage is looking at your document, and is converting to a common format. We call it intermediary format. The name is actually a flat XML file, and is a proprietary format where it contains all the annotations, it contains all the elements, it contains everything that the document had before. Basically, all the content and all the styling. So for us, it doesn't matter what input is. We always gonna bring that to a common format. And that's the format that we're gonna open in the rules editor, and we're gonna then create the rules to convert to DITA. So that's the flow. If a customer has XML with DDTs, same thing, we create an importer. We are also gonna convert to that common format. Again, it's transparent, you won't see that, but that's what's happening behind. Now, the analysis stage is pretty interesting because it also works like an audit of your document. You can actually find out how many characters, the images, tables, all the information is displayed. And because the way we work with Migrate, it's credit-based, right? So you need to know how many credits you need to convert the document. Defines also the cost of the conversion. So you can actually import the documents, find how many credits you have, and you can then estimate the cost to do the conversion, or we can do that for you. Then we have the conversion stage. So after we have the rules defined, and I'm going to cover that, it's just a question of pressing a button and clicking convert. And then you're going to have the document converted. And the output is always valid DITA XML. And I'm going to show an example of that. I'm going to convert the document. I'm going to import in Oxygen, and we're going to run the DDT, sorry, the DITA check, and then we make sure the document is valid. So everything again is transparent to you. Now, when you're working with the software, when you are a user, basically what you're going to be doing is doing the upload and the convert and the download. Really, the upload and the download, we do the conversion for you, and everything happens quite seamless. So at the end, then you have your DITA files, which usually we organize a single folder with all the images and all the topics and maps, or we can have that organized in folders or any way the client wants. We have some of the FrameMaker drawings that can be converted to SVG, equations to MathML, and so on. So there is a process that makes everything very, very consistent. And so let me start the demo. Go to different screen. Going. Oh, let me go back in. This is the beauty of ISO 2007 when you have to have easily they log you out when you wait too long to go back to your monitor. Okay, so this is Migrate, and let me see if I can move this on the side right here. So this is Migrate. As a user, that's what you're usually going to see. You're going to have this dashboard where you can upload your documents. They're going to go here, and you're going to select the files you want. You're going to select the importer, and you're going to have your documents. They can be organized in baskets. In this case, create a demo portal just for this demonstration. So I don't have any baskets, but we can just create a basket, put your documents there. So you can have a basket for your docx, you can have a basket for your FrameMaker. It all depends what you're doing. I use baskets usually based on the year, the month, and the type of conversion. So I'm going to do 2024, February, FrameMaker, and for a customer that could be a series of books that have a particular styling. So I'm going to call, like, I don't know, DSP and version 1 of my basket. So this is a user choice. I have 2 documents here to show today. One is docx. It's one of our manuals, and it's a pretty interesting one. I'll tell you why. And I have a FrameMaker book. It's a zip file, and the zip file because, as you know, FrameMaker contains books and chapters. When we use Migrate, we convert them to MIF files. And if you're familiar with FrameMaker, you know that there's no book extension when we goes to MIF. So everything has MIF's extension. So we need to tell Migrate where is the book. And so there's an extra file, you put it there, and then you zip everything, and then you just import everything in through Migrate. So this is the type of document then. So this was defined where you were uploading the target that you like to have your conversion. So in this case, I'm using DITA 1.3, it's map topic based, but you have several options here. Usually you have only the ones that you need. So in this case, it could be only one. Collection, we're not covering that today. This is for reuse. This is how many credits. So this document has approximately 48 pages. This is the last time I was running, which was today. We're getting ready for the webinar, and the processing time. Annotations are very fast. They take, can take seconds. Conversion takes minutes. So we're doing the annotations here. Annotation means you can see that in the rules editor. And I think that's what I have to show here. So instead of going to the rules editor right away, let's pretend I am the customer, and all I want to do is to convert my document. So I have my document uploaded, and I'll just click convert. And when you convert your document, it's going to take a couple of minutes. I'm not going to do this here, so we keep going with the webinar. And then you download your document. It's going to be a zip file, and it's going to go to a folder. And then you can open the document and see, for example, in Oxygen. So let's do that. So let me go to the folder in the previously loaded document. Excuse me, water. And I'll show one of the documents here. For example, this is the OmniMark concurrent processing engine. And this will be the folder where the documents were saved. And you're going to see here the folders and basically all your DITA files. And that's your map. So this is what you're going to get after the conversion is done. And usually that's all you have to do. Basically import the document, convert, and it's done. Now, to get there, if you start from scratch, you need to go to the rules editor, and we're going to do that for you, and I'm going to show how that works. So let me go back to Migrate. Right, so let me start by going to a document where I have rules already created. So I'm not going to create the rules yet. I'm just going to browse and show them. And then as the webinar progresses, I'm going to give a demonstration and actually create those rules. But first, I just want to give you, how the editor works. So I'm going to select here, and now I'm going to edit rules. You can open the rules editor. I do have a VPN, which I always keep my eye on it, and it's all good. Just making sure, keep connecting with this. So it's a SaaS portal, so I have to make sure I have the connection. So this document is our concurrent processing engine, and this is from OmniMark. Now, I was mentioning before, this is the first document that I had to convert. And when you look at it at first, it's quite pretty. It's really well done. You see there is proper, numbering for the sessions and the names, and it looks proper styling, and the proper font sizes and so on. But when you would like to migrate this to DITA, and I select one of those paragraphs, let's go to our tab here, and we show the element properties. I'm going to cover all of them, the styles and annotation, the properties, but just want to show the element properties. The challenge with this document, in that when the author wrote this, he used the same style everywhere. Everything was normal. So it doesn't matter what you see, it's always normal. And if you're a technical writer, you probably will never do that, because you don't want to separate and create distinction between your topics based on the font size, which is what they did here. So let's look at the styles that are available in this document. So this is another kind of audit of the document. So there is two types of styles here only. There is either a list marker or normal, and nothing else. So how the hell will I be able to break this into topics? How is that even possible? Well, you can use the different rules. So if you go there and you look at the element properties, let's say the first one, it is normal. But if you click on the span, you're going to realize that it has a font size 16. And this one has a font size 12. So yes, it's possible to differentiate the topics, or try to map them or define their boundaries based on the font size. But it would be much better if the style was just called heading 1 or heading 2 or heading 3. That would be like much easier to do that, to set up those rules. And I'm going to show a document and we do that as well, which is a FrameMaker document. Now, this is very rare, by the way. This is why I'm showing this. It is rare, but it does happen. We have cases for the pharma industry, which you have, a 100-page document, beautifully written, beautiful when you print it. But when you open the software, you click, everything is normal. You don't have a single place where there is proper heading and style. So you have to dig deep to get the rules done for this case. But it's pretty easy with Migrate. So that's what I'm trying to get to. So let me see. I show element properties. When you see the style and you see the properties, this is kind of the styles that we have. Annotations is the annotations that I have in this document. So this is going to be tied to our DITA output. It's very important to mention that there's several things that Migrate does automatically, and we don't need an annotation for that. Tables, images, they're all taken care, unless, of course, you want specific changes to that. But usually tables just go through perfectly, and same as for several other items. So usually the number of annotations you have, they are not actually, you don't have so many, depending how the document is written. Unless, of course, you can have notes, you can have caution, you can have warnings. There's so many things that you can add, and those will all be listed here. So this, again, is a way kind of to debug your document. Another reason why you want to know them is because sometimes you can have a rule that says, if you already annotated with this, don't annotate with that, which I'm not going to cover here, but I also give you that kind of power. So let's see the rules. So for this document, you see just a few rules. And the first one I want to show is a topic. So how we define a topic for this document. And topics here, I'm talking about something that's hierarchical, right? Topic level 1, topic level 2. You can have as many as you want. of course, if the document doesn't cover that, there's no need for you to have those rules. So if I select a topic 1, you can see it's highlighted here. And if I click on this, it's saying, okay, this is a no topic level 1. And the file name that's going to be created is going to be about concurrent processing engine DITA. Now, why this is important is because I chose to use this p-title unknown topic. And when I do that, I'm basically letting OmniMark to decide, Migrate to decide whether this is a task or this is a concept and so on. It's going to look into the scope and define what this looks like. You can explicitly set what you want, so you don't have to make it unknown. But then we need to find a way to identify what kind of topics this is. Some of our customers, they will add the tag at the beginning saying this is a concept or a task. But great majority of them, we just use this style because it's this annotation, because it makes it really straightforward to do it. And you get the file name. Let me show that rule, how it's written. So you see right here, this is the way it's written. And I'm not going to cover that now. I'm going to write one with you later. So let's just say it works. And then we go to that another rule. Let's see topic 2. We can see they're defining here. So there's 18 topics, so we can browse through them. And they all are right now, the way we set it up, they're going to create separate files. We can define where you have other step. And this is an interesting one because the way the document's written, we actually wrote step 1. So the rule we have is going to extract the text on this paragraph and leave step 1 out, because that's going to be taken care by when you publish or when using Oxygen. So there's no need to have the step there, or to need to have a bullet, or you don't have to have these section numbers. And then we can see order lists. Same thing. So this order list, we remove the number and we keep the content. So this is going to be current directory. So this will be your order lists, and goes on. Same, you can have bulleted lists. It's the same thing. And I'm going to do some of them with you. Here we have a selection that this is a piece of code. So we use the annotation code, and it's based on the fact that I think this is a New Times Roman font. So that's the way this is done. But I think it's going to get more interesting when I actually start using it at the rules editor. I just want to kind of browse through it so you have an idea how this really works. So when those rules are defined, that's when we can do the conversion, right? So now if you look at the Oxygen here, look at the files first. Yeah, this is the one we're looking at, concurrent processing engine. These are all the topics that we're talking about, topic level 1 and level 2, they're all here. The only difference is that we have an underscore. We can also leave them with the space. It's a choice you have when you create a file, or you can reduce to a limited size. You can have camel case. There are several options how your file is created. I'm just doing, the typical way we address that, and then you get a DITA map, which is open here in Oxygen. So this is the one, the concurrent processing engine. So it's everything in here. And I think I have this also in PDF, which is the typical process we do. With the client, we validate everything. We run through Oxygen. We do all the check to make sure that this is valid. So validation successful. And then we publish this, for example, in PDF, for example, or HTML5. We do both of them. We have an inspection of the document before we send to the customer. And so if I see here, I should have a folder here. If it's not this one, was the other one? Engines, converted, engines, almost there, out. Yeah, so there's a PDF file here. So that'll be the desktop compiler with a show after, but that's basically the PDF file that comes out of it. And from here, I really like to have a quick inspection and analyze whether there's anything missing, or anything that's obvious. Of course, this is using Open Toolkit, the default package that's installed with Oxygen. If we have customers that we have access to some of the plugins, we do that here as well. We also, if there's any specializations, we're going to have them installed. So when we do QA, we validate them using the proper specializations. So this is all done. We do all that for you. When we define the rules, so you can see all the formatting with the proper coding and the proper list that are numbered. And this is a definition list that was created from a table, so we convert that as well. and so on. So let me go back to the editor. Okay, so let me show the second document I have. So this one I was trying to get to is, looks pretty, but you know, the same styling makes life harder. But not to worry, we can take care of that using Migrate as well. So let me go back to the documents, and now I'm going to select engine. So this is the one that we're using FrameMaker. Is basically the same book. Let me see the rules I have, version 1, perfect. So I'll go there. Some of our documents may take a few minutes to load when they are very large. Conversion takes, as I mentioned before, between seconds to minutes. We do have a customer, we have 4,000 pages. That takes about 2 hours to convert. But we're talking about 4,000 pages of RoboHelp. So it's really a lot of content to be converted. Right, so we have here the desktop compiler. This is another product. This is actually, again, it's part of OmniMark. And what you're going to see right away is a FrameMaker book. And when you click on this, you're going to see, hey, nice styling, right? You have a heading 0 here, heading 2. So proper headings are defined. So now to create a rule is very easy. All you have to do is to make sure is to match the styling. So if you look at the styles we have for this document, this is number sessions, the first one, and this happens a few times, so we can highlight that. Let me go back. So you can see this happens 4 times. And basically what we don't want this. We'd rather use the content that comes after. So we're just going to delete it. So it's like another way to kind of do this audit of your document. So let me disable this. We have heading 1, we have heading 2. So it's not just list marker and normal. So now you have proper styling. So to make life much easier. So you can see this was done by someone that when they created the document with FrameMaker, which constrains things a little bit more than Word. Let's say it limits creativity. It's maybe a way to put it. So FrameMaker allows for that. And that's the difference between the previous document, really. It's just it was better written than before. Now, the rules here, they will basically allow you to select the topics as before. There is one thing that I need to show that which is important, is that even though I can make a rule that basically checks for my heading, this one, I'm going to show the rule in here. So just check with the headings 2. And it's going to create a topic level 2, and it's going to create a file name that's going to use that heading name. Now, the problem with that, which is fine, but it's a bit of a challenge, is because it's going to take the paragraph, the line here, and make that a file name, which means your section number is going to be part of it. And if you're fine with that, it's all good. You got your rule defined. But if you don't want that, you have to strip that. That's where you can use regular expressions. There are several things in my career I always avoid for many years. One of them was regular expressions. And then I joined Stilo, and now my life is regular expressions. And I'm getting pretty good at it. And I'm feeling very ashamed of my avoidance in the past to learn regular expressions. And I'm going to show an example where we actually use regular expressions here. Actually, I can do that right now. I can simply go here. I have a second version of the same rules. So I'm going to do this. I'm gonna disable this one just for fun here, and I'm going to enable this one. So now the rule that we have is the one that has a regular expression. So what is this regular expression here? That's what it says. Well, you have a number. Could be several numbers, because the section could be 10.20 or whatever. So I can have as many numbers as I want. I have one period. I can have as many numbers, another period, and then I have a number, I have a space, and then I have my title. And I want just the title for my file name. And that's what I did here. So this just shows the flexibility and the power of these regular expressions. You don't have to use it for this, but it certainly makes the output much better for this particular case. So if I apply this, let me save and apply. In just a few seconds. I was told when I started my career that I should talk about sports while we wait. I'm terrible at sports, and the only thing I can talk about is girls hockey because that's the sport my daughter plays. So I will skip the sport conversation here. That's what I want to show. I want to get to that same line as before, and now you can see that we stripped the section number from here, and that's what you want. So when you look at your files that I was showing before, they already have that part stripped. So I cleaned it up before for the demonstration here. And we have all our rules done here. Okay, so I'll stop with showing this part. What I'm gonna do, I'm gonna go back to one of the documents. I'm gonna change to a rule set that is almost empty, and I'll add a couple rules and show how that works. And that's basically the plan for today before we keep going with the slides. So let me do that. So I'm gonna close this one, and I'm gonna use the first document, which is gonna be this one, and I'm gonna use the rules, my docx set of rule 0, select my document, start editing here. Now, our customers, because they got their own portal, they can do everything on what I'm doing. So they can actually make their own rules. The advantage we have is that we can tap into a library of 2,000 rules, set of rules, and just use them. So it's for us, of course, quickly because we have the experience. But the beauty about the way the process is done in Migrate is that after you import your document and you accept the credits, you can change the rules as many times as you want, and you can convert the document as many times as you want, and you just download it. So there's no cost for you to do that. The moment the document is imported, you're gonna see how many credits the document is gonna require. You can accept that or not, well, and you only have to accept that when you're choosing a target. So if you upload a document, doesn't matter how large the document is, you can see how many credits that document has, and you can make a decision about the conversion. So there's no cost for you at all to do that. When you choose a target or the rules, then we're going to be asked, do you want to accept the credits? And then you accept the credits. But you can just play around with the rules editor as many times as you want. There's no cost for that. And you can convert as many times as you want, which makes sense because the conversion process is an interactive process when you're working with us. I'll be driving this, working with you. I'm going to create the rules. I'm going to validate the output. I'm going to send you the DITA XML. Or you can just go to the portal and download the files yourself. You can do your own QA, and then we can discuss what changes you want to that particular output, and that goes through us changing the rules for you. So that's basically the process. So it works really well. Some of our customers, they like to play with the rules directly and add some rules, which is fine. If they break something, they just let us know. We help fixing them rules, and there'll be no change again to the whole flow. All you have to do is to select the rules. I always clone them and make copies, so it's easier. It's like a software engineering background, but you can break anything really. After the document is loaded, you can change your rules, you can convert again, and so on. So let me go back to this. So this is the document I showed before, and now you're still going to see our rules. And I have a few rules there. So I have the rules for deletion, like remove list markers. And if you see this rule, we can actually go there. So just deleting these things. Delete any empty paragraphs. We don't need them in our DITA XML, so we just delete them. Delete any topic index, any step marker, and I just left one thing here, the order steps. So I show what that is. The order step, because this was not written, I don't think this was written the best way. I'm rather using like a list marker or something else. I have to use regular expressions. So I'm using a regular expression to find out where if it matches the step one. So if it starts with a step, with a space and a number, use the order command. I don't want to cover that here today. This gets too tricky, but just to say that's all possible. But this document, if I try to convert it now, if I go here and I click convert, it's going to fail. It's going to fail because I didn't define any topics. So there are no boundaries. And so you can't convert this to valid DITA if you don't do that. So let's do that. Let's create some topics here. So I'm going to start by selecting, I think I have this. So I'm going to start by selecting here to create the first topic. If you have the higher, let's say the topic level 0, 1 defined, your document is gonna convert successfully. Now, it could be a very poor DITA file because you may only have topics and no lists and no tables. I mean, it will be tables, but it could be very limited, right? You want to make sure you have all the annotations there. But if you want to get the first crack and try, just defining topics is enough for you to get valid DITA. So that's pretty interesting. But the problem again, you're just going to have topics and paragraphs, right? You want more than that. But you can do that. So let me do that. Let me select this one, and I'm going to say, let's create a new rule, and I'll call it topic. Let's call it topic 1. See, it's already suggesting for me to use style is normal. Great, but you realize every style here is normal. So that's not really a great discrimination of how to define this, but that's fine. We can use style normal. What I like to do, because I know that it contains a span and it's size 16, I can do this. I can say create a rule here. It's going to be a contain element, test, element to type span. It's a label, and I would like to say it's something that contains, let's see, a property, and the property will be font size, and I'll use font size, let's see, 18. Is there 18 there? Let's make sure there's 18 here. Yeah, let's see how that goes. Usually I test for more than one font. I'm just trying to make this in a way that show how easy it is to enter all these things for the rules. And I'm gonna also check that the another property, which is the font weight, which is bold. So question is, can we get away with the font size 18 and the font weight bold? I think we can. We'll try. And I'm going to add a notation here. So the annotation I'm going to copy paste from here, so I don't have to type this. But I can go just a second. So the annotations are actually P, title, and then you can do a no, and you can choose the topic. So I just copy and paste. So there's all these predefined things for you. And I want to create a file. And the file I'm going to use is going to be the paragraph itself. So I'm just going to do this. Okay, so now I'm done. And I'll press save, and I'll apply to the document. So let me apply. And this is the first thing I ever did when I joined Stilo, and I was given this document to do, is to define the topics. Okay, let's see what happened there. So we select this, and you can see here in the notation that it is a topic. It worked. So topic 1 rule worked. Now it's working in here as well. And great, it's not working here because I don't want this to be a topic 1. So my font 18 was good enough. So my rule is actually, it's pretty neat. I mean, I just defined the font size 18. There is a good chance I could get away without even testing for bold, right? We could try that as well. Now, the one thing about this I want to say is that when you look at your rules, and you look at when you look at your annotation, is the name of the file. Remember, I mentioned is 1.1 about concurrent processing engine. This is going to be your file name. Now, if you don't want that, then in this case, you need regular expressions to strip that. So, and I'm going to do that. I'll say that it should match. So I'll say this rule, there is a data content text test, sorry, and have to match. And I'm going to copy the regular expression here. By the way, most of the regular expressions we use, they're cookie cutter, really. They just apply them just to this. And in here, instead of being the file, I will make sure this is called title, which is what's going to be extracted from here. A regular expression stuff. Okay, so now I save, which is done, and I apply. And you're going to see the result in a second. Okay, so we go back there. And now what you can see, it removed the section number or the section label from the title, which is great. So now when you do this, you have the document. Now, I only have topic 1. We can do the same for topic 2, which, we don't have to cover all of that, or we could just go in here, and I can always copy and paste this and make another rule, and it goes on like that. So it's usually when topics are defined based on font size or style like headings, you can just copy paste them and just change the style. And again, as I mentioned, all the information is here. See, this one only has list marker, sorry, and normal. So it was easy. But if you have several styles, they're going to be listed. So the interface offers you all of that. Most of the time, this is to make my life easier, not to make your life easier. So that's why it's such a powerful tool to do that. I can go to all the topics. Maybe we do a list. So I will show a list as well. Let me see when we have a list here. Here. So this one, we can use a list. Now, if you see on the properties, it just say list style is decimal and list level is 0. This is enough for us to actually create a rule. Because if you see here, those properties are not there, which is great. So there is some quality to this document when they wrote it. And I can create a rule there. So I click a new rule. I'll call it, let's say, order list. Again, the style is normal. We really don't need that style. What I like to do is to do a property, not group of tests, delete that. I want to do a property test. And the property I'm going to use is going to be list level, or list style first, decimal. See, I think you saw there's disk, decimal and disk. Disk means going to be a bullet. So you're going to be a bullet list, right? And I can do another property, and this is going to be list level. I actually don't think there is more than one level here. So this test may be actually probably relevant. We could just get away with list style is decimal. So you can have a rule just based on a single test, right? And then I call it this order list. So I have copied from here because I have this done. So I got my order list. Now, if you, as I showed before, actually, let me do this. If you just type it, it's all there, right? You just have to type it. It's just, I'm just really lazy, to be honest with you. So just copy pasting. So I do done. And you know what? We can do the other list. And then I'm gonna kind of go to the other slide. So we call it this bulleted. So bullet list, and hopefully I got my spelling right. And the only difference here, this is disk, and this is not order anymore. This will be, it's right there, bulleted, and I'm gonna call level here. Now the level is important because you can have them nested when it's allowed by the standard. You can have them nested, so you can have like a list with lists. In that case, you wanna define a hierarchical level. Some of the formats we get, it's pretty neat. They have a difference between the first item in a list has a different styling from the next item. So you know where you are at the beginning or at the end. This is very important when you want to define scope. Sometimes you have a note, or you have a table, or you have an image, and you want to have them nested. In that case, you want to make sure that you are inside of that list. And the way to know is by testing where you are, and the software allows you to do that as well. But we're not covering scope in here. So I just save, and I'm going to apply. Just give it a second. And there we have. So let's see how that went. I click in here. Of course, you can just go and run convert as well and just check what is working. But conversion takes longer than annotation. So usually it's easier to first debug it here. And you can see right now what I did. You can see it detected the order list, right? It's all there. And same is for the bullet list. So I did talk about this document being poorly formatted, but it does give you enough to get the work done. The thing I haven't tried, and I'm not covering this today, is that, is this thing also has a font size that can conflict with that font size? In that case, I may have to test that. I need to have font size 16 and 18 or something like that. When you have proper headings, you don't have to do that. You just go for the style. Let me see. And yes, I think this is what I have to show as far as goes to the demo of the software. And let me go back to my slides, which I need to leave my computer here. And I will pass the word to my colleague, Brian Tipper here.
Okay, thank you very much, Jackson. Great demo. And yeah, so my name is Brian Tipper. I'm the CEO here at Stilo. And now that Jackson's done all the heavy lifting, I'll come in and just go through some quick commercial slides. So this first slide is just talking about the advantages of using the Migrate platform. And the main concept here is that we can get up and running quite quickly. So there's no pre-conversion specs that we need to sit on and spend a lot of time on before putting the actual content into the SaaS tool. We asked just a couple questions up front. What DITA target are you aiming for? What are the source formats that you want converted? And then we'll take that sample content. We'll create the rules for it. We'll do some fine tuning, and then we'll generate the first round of DITA results. And then we give that to the customer. They'll QA it. And once they're ready to move forward, we'll have a requirement meeting, which is only an hour long. And we'll go through some other questions like DITA specializations and whatnot, and talk about basically the setup that they want their files and their folder structure. And then from there, we can just take all that information and basically make a production ready portal. And then one of the other big advantages with Migrate is that you're able to get the content into the system quickly and easily, and you're also able to go through fine-tuning iterations very easily. So what we want to do is we want to take that content, put it in the portal, spend some time with it, get the DITA, and then QA the DITA in the environment that you want it in. So get it into the CCMS, get it published, take a look at it, figure out what needs to be changed, and then we go back to the rules editor. We fine-tune things until we get exactly what we're looking for. So you can go through this process very quickly, and you don't have to worry again about paying anything additional when you reconvert the content, because you only pay once for each document. And then the other nice thing about the Migrate portal is that you can convert at your own pace. So once a pipeline is created for your company, if you're choosing to use a self-operated portal, when you get the batches in, so from one batch to the next, you can just take that batch, upload the content, and like Jackson said, he has a certain naming scheme that he'll use when he's putting new batches into the system. And then you could convert that batch and then throw it into your CCMS, which is a typical flow that we'll see. So for larger projects, the customers will typically figure out which batches they want to put into the CCMS first, and then they'll go through a process over 6 months to a couple of years of getting all their content migrated over. And then the other huge advantage with Migrate is our goal is to get rid of all pre and post conversion cleanup. So in some cases we might not be able to, but through this fine tuning and this iterative process, we can usually get rid of most, if not all, pre and post conversion cleanup that would be required for these documents. Okay, you go to the next slide there, Jackson. So the engagement process, just to reiterate what happens. So customers or prospects will fill out lead forms, and they'll send us 20 to 30 pages of content. We take that content, we'll analyze it, we'll convert it, we'll QA it, and we'll fine tune it as much as we feel necessary. And then when we're ready, we'll call a demo with the customer, and we'll demo the entire process just like Jackson did today. And then we deliver the DITA results to the user so that they can QA it. And then again, once they're ready to move on to the next step, we have this 1 hour requirement meeting, and then we discuss what type of portal that they're looking for. So we have two different flavors of portals. In both cases, we're almost delivering the exact same result. So we're going to create the portal, we're going to create all the rules, we're going to deploy the portal. It's just a matter of, does the customer want to use it in a self-serve setup, or do they want to use it in a Stilo operated setup? In a self-serve setup, you're going to save costs because you're going to be uploading the content yourself. You're going to be clicking the convert button, QAing the content, and figuring out if anything needs to be fine-tuned. If you do need fine-tuning, you can do it yourself if you'd like. If you want us to do it, just let us know what needs fine-tuning, and we'll go ahead and jump into your portal and modify the rule sets as needed. Okay, we can go to the next slide here. So the whole free bit of the title of this webinar is talking about this special offer. So essentially, if you have the first two qualifications met, we have an offer available for any customer or prospect. So if you're targeting DITA 1.2 or 1.3, which I would say 99% of everybody currently is, and you have over 2,500 pages of the following source formats. So you'll see the formats listed there. I see a couple questions asking about PDFs. So there's three formats that are fairly common that I didn't put on here. One is PDF, one is XML, and one is InDesign. So with something like InDesign, we have to take a look at these files on a case-by-case basis. InDesign usually has things completely out of order, and there could be pre-conversion cleanup, and the amount of pre-conversion cleanup that's required is differing based on different customers. With the XML, XML will come with a DDD, and we need to see how involved that is and how much time it'll take our development team to create a custom importer so that you can utilize the portal. And with PDFs, the first question that we'll always ask is, do you have the source documents for the PDF? So do you have, the Word documents or the FrameMaker or whatever the source that it came from is? If you do have that, then it's an easy answer. Yeah, well, we can do it straightforward. Just give us the source. If you don't have the source, PDFs that were created in the last 15 years or so, they can be outported or outputted by or exported by Adobe and like a docx format or whatnot. And if you can do that, or you send us those documents, we can do that, and we can work off of the docx. If it's an older PDF that's required by OCR to scan through and basically pull out the information, then we would definitely have to take a look at the documents and take a look at maybe some different OCR technologies to see what can be pulled out of the document. Of course, you guys, the customers can do this themselves if they want to save on costs for us investigating this and just see what information can be pulled out. Ideally, you'd probably want to pull it out in a Word format or something similar to that. But again, we don't see very many documents that require OCR. A lot of the later PDFs, Adobe tools can easily export to docx, and then we can work off of this. So the offer, if you have those two qualifications met, is we give you 1 year free access to our analyzer tool. So our analyzer tool right now, it can analyze 3 different formats. It can analyze docx, HTML, and FrameMaker. And it's a SaaS tool that you'll send us the content for. We go ahead and throw it through the tool. It analyzes the content for reuse potential. And once we get the analysis completed, we're going to go ahead and add you as a user to the portal. We send over the login details, and then you can go through, and it's a tool that you can interact with, walk through the different documents, look at the different reuse potential, and you can also export a report that can be used to submit to management to essentially demonstrate the significance and importance of a migration over to a structured XML like DITA. And then finally, with these 2 qualification mets, kind of the big piece of it is we're going to do a full production ready migrate portal. So typically we would charge services to get the portal set up and fine-tuned. But if this is a mid to larger size project, we're going to do this completely free. We're also going to put 250 credits on the portal, and we're going to enable the exact topic deduplication, which is also embedded in the migrate portal. So essentially, from the sample content, if you're working on a project that meets these requirements, you can have a production level conversion portal ready to use. And at that point, we'll have everything fine-tuned so that you're getting the proper data that you're looking for, and that things are already loading into the CCMS and publishing properly. And you just have to make a decision on when you want to convert things, and it's a pay-as-you-go system from there. And there's a little asterisk at the bottom just talking about the things I mentioned with the the DDDs that might be involved with XML structure and maybe some of the InDesign or the PDF questions that were asked in the comment section. That's pretty much all I have. I guess we can open it up to questions, and I'll pass the mic over to Jackson or Trish to close it off.
Yeah, I'll make one comment about what Brian mentioned about the work, because if for us, when we set the rules, if you have 10,000 pages or you have 100 pages, the work is the same, right? So for us, so the time you're going to spend setting up rules for a few documents is going to be pretty much the same for large documents. So it just makes total sense for us to do that. I think the fact that you don't have to do all the conversion at once, you can do that on your own time. It's also very important. We have customers that the conversion process takes 6 months, because during that time they have to define what have to be converted first, what to be converted last, and they may have to be running 2 systems in parallel while they're moving away to a particular publishing system. So that's a key for them to be able to have both of them running. So you don't have to have the decision day one. You don't have to give everything to us day one. You can just do that with the proper timing. It fits within the schedule of your organization.
So I do see one, and a quick reminder, we are recording. We do send the webinar link to all those who registered, as well as post on the CIDM webinar and past webinars. Again, if you have any questions, please put them in the Q&A. I do see one, not sure it's been answered, so I'm just going to make sure we've taken care of it. Are converted images referenced to the applicable DITA file upon conversion?
Yes. So all the images are. So we actually treat images in a way that's transparent, which is kind of funny. Use the word transparent images. It's not what I mean, but we just pass through, but we keep all the references, all the links. So what happened is that if you provide us a FrameMaker file, let's say a MIR file, if it's just a chapter, not a book, you don't even have to provide the images. But you need to have that folder there. So when you get your converted content, you just put your folder there, and everything is going to be connected to the original source. You can also, of course, if you want to have your images in a separate folder, we can when we create the final DITA, we can have everything in a proper folders as well. So there is some tailoring options there as well. But all your images will be properly referenced. Yes. And
if images are not linked in the source?
So then you're going to get all those nice errors when you look into Oxygen saying cannot find PNG, cannot find SVG, cannot find. So the images are not going to be there, but the source is going to reference them, but the files are going to be missing.
Okay, well, it looks like we're essentially out of time. So if you do have any, I will also be sending with the recording link your information, but if you'd like to pop a slide with your emails, that would be great if you have one. If not, that's fine. But again, I will be sending that information out with the recording link if anybody has any more in-depth questions. And it's been a pleasure. Thank you so very much for this very informative webinar.
And I will do something, Trish. Sorry, I just put this.
Thank you. Perfect. Absolutely perfect.
Quick work on the spot.
That's right. I'm impressed. Okay. Well, that's good and not a moment too soon. So anyway, I will close, and we will hopefully see you guys sometime in the near future.
Thank you so much, everyone. Thanks for the opportunity.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.